So having seen part 1 listening, part 2 reading, and part 3 writing task, we move on to the section 4 or part 4 of the IELTS, which is the speaking test. This test is quite different from the rest of the sections. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, that is your listening, reading and writing, happens in a test room through a paper pencil based test. But the speaking is a one-on-one interview between you and the examiner, who will examine you based on your and assess your speaking skills. So it is an individual one-on-one interview. So you need to be prepared well for this particular section. It's challenging, number one, in the sense that it lasts only for 11 to 14 minutes. So within this duration, most of the students, don't get really prepared, and they get nervous and tensed, and most of them sometimes break down. So you need to prepare well ahead of the test, understanding what the content and format of the test is all about. Second is, you need to really pay attention to how each of these questions must be handled, and when a question is posed to you in speaking, what does the examiner really expect from you? So moving on, there are 3 parts to this speaking test. So part 1 will be short questions which the examiner will ask you based on the everyday topics. Like it could be your hometown, on food, sports, education, money, shopping, and so on. Before moving on, the commonly asked questions are, for example, these are, you can call them as icebreakers. So the examiner will ask you, what is your name? And then will ask you to produce your ID, namely the passport, and they will give it back to you after verification. And then he or she will ask you which is your hometown, and then start the other questions. Like on the topics which I said normally are parts of the speaking questions. I have on my slide a sample question paper of the recent examination or the test. You can see it's based on the topic money. So the examiner starts asking you the following questions about money. So how much money is enough? To answer this question, it's not just sufficient to say that you can't exactly quantify how much money each one needs and stop there. You need to extend the answer. For example, you all agree that money is very important for our living, and because money is a basic mode of transaction which can be exchanged for goods or services. It's a kind of money plays a very important role, and how much money is enough differs from individual to individual. It's the perception. So what is enough for me need not be enough for you, and you have to extend your answers and give your reasons. But you should not speak for more than 30 seconds on this. So the second question, if you see, why do people care too much about money? So why is a question stem? They're asking you some of the reasons. So you need to quickly get down to what do you think, according to you, are the reasons why people pay so much attention to money. Of course, the very common thing being money can get you anything. So the third question, if you look, is money more important to you? So it's a personalized question. Please note that every question that you answer in your speaking has to be personalized. I think, I agree. So you must not say in third person, one agrees, and things like that. So the fourth question, you see, what do people in your country save money for? So basically it's about the Indian perceptions and attitudes as to why people save money. So you know that about our tradition and culture, that we save lots of money for our good old days when we can't work, and for our health and taking care of ourselves. So that's basically what you need to desire, and And you can also talk about how youngsters differ from the elders in this regard, but keep your sentences very short. Don't prolong, don't elongate, right? So with set of 5 to 6 questions, this round will get over and last up to 4 minutes. Then the examiner will move on and say and give you a cue card. And when he or she gives you a cue card, she will also hand over a pencil and a paper to you and start a stopwatch. Exactly, she will give you 1 minute or 60 seconds to make notes on the cue card. So how does a cue card look like? Here you can see it on the screen. So describe a method to save money. You should say what the method is and what the method is and when you started to use this method, how you knew about it, and explain why it is helpful. So you have to cover all these 4 points, and you can jot down your points with keywords, whatever you want to speak on. And exactly after 1 minute, the examiner says, please start speaking. So once the examiner signals you to start, you need to start speaking, and you need to speak at least for 1.5 minutes up to maximum 2 minutes, and if you exceed 2 minutes, the examiner will stop you. The third part of your test is a discussion between you and the examiner based on the cue card. For example, this topic was on money. So let's look at what kind of questions will the examiner ask you. So what do you think about money? So it's about your perceptions about money that he or she is asking you in the first place. Second, could human beings live without money? Very interesting question. When such a question is posed to you, you can always start your answer by saying it's quite an interesting question. And then follow up. And when you talk, try to give some points. Like for example, it is irreplaceable, means money cannot be replaced by anything else. Second is, it motivates you to work. Basically, money drives people to work, to do everything that they're doing. Third is, overcome obstacles. Money can help you overcome obstacles easily. Fourth is, have their own voice in the society. So rich people have their voice, have their say, because everybody would like to listen to only a person who has more money. So the person who doesn't have money is never cared for in the society. So what do you think? Save more? Who do you think save more money, men or women? It's a very, very nice question. So without being gender biased, you can give your views about who saves more money and why. In your opinion, and why do you think so? So which do you think is better for the economy of a country or area? People saving money or people spending money? So they are trying to ask you whether a spending spree is good or saving spree is good. So you have to give a very balanced answer for this. Then moving on to the last question, do you think the government should let people know how it spends money? So that's the last question. So to improve upon these skills, I would honestly ask you to watch documentaries, Hard Talk on BBC, understand how questions are posed, how questions are taken, handled, and very, very interesting, right? This is all about the speaking test. And moving on quickly to show you how you will be assessed on your speaking, which is very important to understand. There are 4 criteria which you can see on my slide. One is fluency and coherence. Second is lexical resource. Third is the grammatical range and accuracy. Fourth is pronunciation. So I already explained what is lexical resource, what is grammatical range and accuracy. So I'm not repeating it here. So what is fluency and what is coherence? Fluency is your ability to speak English without having the need to stop or pause. Coherence is how well you're connecting your sentences and ideas and thoughts. Very important, so that the listener can easily understand and follow what you are saying. So regarding this, pronunciation is a very important skill, As you know, in India, the students have problems because they come from various backgrounds, speaking different mother tongues. So you can see that the mother tongue has an influence, predominant influence in the English that they speak. So you need to work really hard to overcome and neutralize your accent, which is very important. So I have helped thousands of students to neutralize their accent and speak very well, and it not only helped them to get great scores in IELTS, but also remember it helped them a lot in boosting their career to great heights or levels. So pronunciation, there are a few websites which I would ask you to take a look at, how to improve pronunciation and learn and understand how the pronunciation. So you can use IPA, the International Phonological Association, International Phonological Alphabets, how they are used in English. English is a language which has various sounds, and not like the other languages which is spoken in a monosyllable. So English is quite complicated, and one needs to pronounce the words very well. That's also a skill which is being assessed. Particularly if you're looking at a high band score of 8 or 9, you should pay close attention to your pronunciation, your GRE, lexical resource, and fluency and coherence. So that's all I have for the day. And as I told you, recapitulating the whole, you'll be assessed on a 0 to 9 band. Again, your scores on speaking based on this criteria, fluency and coherence and lexical resource. And remember, one thing I should tell you is the entire speaking is recorded digitally on a recorder. The examiner tells you that it is recording, it's being recorded. So the recording is analyzed by an examiner in Cambridge who does the second evaluation or the second marking. The first marking will be done by the examiner who is examining you. He or she will be assessing you on all the 4 criteria and will be assigning you a band score based on these descriptors. So there will be a second assessment done in the Cambridge, and both the scores average will be taken. And if there is a deviation of more than 0.5 band, it goes to the third marker for a review. So this is the process. Similarly, in writing also, you will be assessed by 2 examiners based on all the 4 parameters or criteria that I told you, and then your scores are reported. Regarding listening and reading, there is no discrepancy because the answer key, so your answers are checked against the answer key, giving you 1 point for each response, and converting the raw scores into what you call basically the band scores. So I wish everyone all the best, very best in your preparations for IELTS. And if you think that you need help, you can always reach out to me on UrbanPro. I'm always available on UrbanPro, and I'll be more than glad to assist you to fulfill all your dreams of taking the IELTS. All the best. Thank you.